Hi, my name is Dade Scolardi, and I'm a professional tutor that works in the Writing Center and with HCC students in the early college program.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Velasquez. I am a professional learning coach and tutor at the CAP Center. I work as a tutor with the early college program. Also, I am a supplemental instructor for the CDA program, and I tutor a high school student from the Success Center.
And I'm Lennox Scott. I work as a professional learning coach in the CAP Center.
All right, and today the three of us are going to talk about time management and the way in which one can cope with anxiety and stress during these times of uncertainty. As humans, we generally don't like uncertainty and tend to thrive and do our best with routines. These routines are essential in our lives because they create a sense of normalcy and stability. The way in which we do our jobs, take care of our loved ones, and participate in our lives has fundamentally changed. Due to COVID 19, our routines have been disrupted. The stability in our daily lives does not exist, and along with these changes can come a great deal of anxiety and stress. Days often meld together, and the concept of time can feel unreal. In some aspects, living in such a fluid environment can foster great creativity and freedom. Such freedom can make one overwhelmed with the way they choose to spend or manage their time. In this short presentation, we're going to talk about how stress and anxiety can manifest and offer a multitude of ways to introduce some structure to our now unstructured lives. We will talk about specific ways in which one can keep themselves on track, create a space to plan activities and tasks, and, most importantly, how to build self care and fun time into one's schedule. Normally, when you think of anxiety, you think of the typical signs: pounding heart, increased breathing, trouble sleeping and concentrating, being unable to settle, and having racing thoughts. Anxiety and stress is not always obvious and may present itself with less common characteristics. Sometimes you may feel as though you are disconnected from those around you and the work you are doing. Other uncommon ways anxiety shows up in our lives is through procrastination, feelings of impulsivity, being short tempered or quick to anger. These signs are often overlooked as signs of anxiety and can persist for some time until the person experiencing them can identify what is happening for them. As I've stated earlier, routines can eliminate the anxiety around feeling like things are out of your control. In the following few slides, we will present ways in which one can manage their stress and anxiety levels and do it in a way that can make space for moments of serenity and peace, but also introduce some ways to keep a routine. Now, what does that look like? The first thing you want to do is give yourself the space to sort out what it is that is making you anxious and stressed. Know your triggers. This is supremely important because it allows you to avoid getting bogged down in situations that will always lead to feeling distressed. Once you know these triggers, take a time out when you feel that stress is building up. It's okay to step away from a project or a person to regroup and sort out how you'd like to approach things. While you are taking that time out, make sure you've had a good meal or snack and are well hydrated. A lot of times, when we feel the physical effects of anxiety, it is not always because our brains are anxious, but instead it is because our brains are dehydrated and craving sustenance. Be silly with yourselves and others. Take a few minutes to put on your favorite song and dance with a pet. Make your partner or friends laugh at a joke. And ultimately, accept that there are simply things that are out of your control and know that in the moment, you're doing the very best that you can do. Finally, and this is the bulk of what our presentation is about, introduce structure. If you cannot control the information that is being sent to you or the workload that is imposed upon you, at least you can control the way it is sorted and processed. My co host Carolyn will now start with some ways in which you can do this.
Yes, I'm gonna talk about how you can organize your physical environment. Under normal circumstances, maintaining a schedule is significant. I would like to say that organizational skills are part of having productive time management. Staying organized is beneficial. Have a specific workplace or study area is going to help you. Prepare a system for your organization. For example, you should organize your work area 10 minutes every day before you start working. You can divide your projects, books, or specific documents per group using labels. Being organized will allow you to what? quickly find anything that you need. It could be contract, research papers, or assignments. And then now I'm gonna talk about how can you establish a routine. So we had normal circumstances, so we're like a schedule is important. However, now living under abnormal conditions, it will help you to be more productive if you establish a routine. It is important to prepare a system for your time management. So, for example, you can ask yourself, how do you plan a routine? Do you keep a planner, a journal, a notebook, bullet journal? Do you have a whiteboard, cardboard, or a wall? Do you use a digital calendar? Pick something that feels best for you, that you like, that you enjoy, something that you don't feel like extra work for you. So something that you can check, you can use it frequently. For example, you should prepare your week every Sunday evening, review it every morning or at night to make changes as needed. If something happens, it's okay. If you have an emergency, it's okay. So also you should be realistic, be specific, and try to accomplish your goals. You should have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals. Don't feel frustrated if you don't accomplish them. Feel proud of yourself if you accomplish some of them or more. So next, so good habits will make your life easier. It can be hard to have a routine because everything is different, working or studying at home with your younger children or other family members. You can create a new schedule for both yourself and your family. It is highly recommended that you keep your work or study schedule as close as possible to what you were doing in college. You can mimic some of the activities. For example, if you eat lunch with your coworker or classmate, maybe you can eat lunch or a video call like this. If you walk during the day in your routine, perhaps you can walk in your neighborhood. So planning ahead is important. We have 7 days in a week, 24 hours each day, 160 hours in a week. If you multiply 7 days, multiply by 24 hours, then think about it. Think about this, how you can calculate your activities. How can you be specific with your time? We have these times like personal time, work time, school time, if you're a student, study time. Personal time, it could be your personal care, family time, meal time, cleaning, organizing your home, taking care of your children, exercising, getting your groceries, and bedtime. If you have a planner and then you're specific with your personal time, it's gonna help you. And then if you have your work time, for example, checking and responding to emails, if you're saying, okay, I'm gonna set up my time at 8 o'clock or at 12 or at 5, 3 times, 4 times, be realistic. Like 24/7 is not like a realistic goal. So workshops, prep time, grading. So if you're a student, you have here school time. For example, it could be lecture time, reading your books, PowerPoint presentations, videos. So 3 credits means 3 hours. So think about it, like be specific. And then study time, when are you gonna study for a test? So here you're supposed to study from like 2 hours up to 3 hours for each credits. If you have 3 credits, you're supposed, if you multiply that, 3 credits multiplied by 3 hours, that means 9 hours, or multiply by 2, 6 hours. This is like, how can you establish a routine? But now, Lennox will explain some ways that can help you to learn how you feel less overwhelmed.
So, what do we do when sticking to a plan or a routine feels impossible? First of all, if you feel like you are under an ever-growing mountain of obligations, your sleep schedule is abysmally inconsistent, And try as you might, you just can't introduce or stick with a routine. Take a deep breath. Remember, your productivity does not define your worth. If and when you do veer off your routine or you don't get everything done the way you expect to, try to be kind with yourself. You can keep working towards your goals. With practice and some help, we can find ways that help us build skills for sticking with routine and realistic goal setting. And there are tools that we can use to help us do this. So let's talk about some of those tools. What are some external cues and other tools that can help us to keep track of time and to stick with our goals? There's so many reasons why we all have different relationships to time and awareness of it. For lots of us, sticking to a routine requires external help. And most of us have had some sort of shift in the rituals or structures that used to be consistent in our day-to-day, including those who are still going to work and out there on the front lines. So if you're having a hard time keeping track of time, focusing, remembering things, you can try to integrate some tools that can cue you to help you stay on track. So a straightforward and simple example would be some visual cues, like putting post-it reminders in places where you'll see them often. This could include next to your shower, whatever feels organic and helpful and useful for you. Notes can be about important dates, deadlines, or reminders to wash your face, whatever you're having a hard time remembering or doing consistently. Accountability buddies is something else that we can use to help us stay on track. What does it mean to be an accountability buddy? You can try asking a friend, a family member, a housemate, a coworker, or a classmate to help you to be accountable to a goal, and you can do the same for other people. So for example, you and a willing friend could set up a standing time each day or on certain days of the week that you will always have a phone call. And before that time, that you each have to have been responsible for finishing a certain task. You and an accountability buddy could figure out ways to support each other in going outside for at least a few minutes every day if that's feeling hard, in sticking to a bedtime, and making sure you submit important paperwork on time. Whatever it is that you need help sticking to, other people can help you do that. And the magical Google Calendar is another tool we can use. Technology can help share the burden of remembering 500,000 different things. If you have a Gmail account and a phone that can access the internet, Google Calendar might be a helpful tool for you. You can compile everything that you want to schedule, whether that's a meeting, an event, or a block of time for yourself to do laundry, in one place. And you can set Google Calendar to give you reminder notifications ahead of the things you schedule. So for many people, Google Calendar is a serious game changer. Though I will say that for some folks, the notifications can get annoying because GCal will not only send notifications to your phone, but also to your email, which admittedly can quickly clutter up an inbox. So you can adjust your notification settings as needed. There's plenty of other digital calendars out there as well, though since GCal is through a Google platform, you can access it from any device that can access the internet, which for some people can ease anxieties about losing your important reminders if you were to, say, misplace a journal or notebook, or if your toddler were to splash some spaghetti sauce on the paper calendar that's on your fridge. Google Calendar will have all your information saved online. And finally, there's a lot of things that you can do with a timer. Timers are pretty possible to come by. Phones, laptops, kitchen edge timers, even your oven or microwave most likely has a functional timer on it. And if you're sitting down to a task that you know you want to only give a certain amount of time to, or if you want to make sure that you remember to stop at a certain time to give yourself enough time to get ready for something else, timers are great ways to give you reminders about how much time has passed and help you to stay on track. And something else you can do with a timer is called the Pomodoro method. What is the Pomodoro method? It is a time management technique developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. What is it? How does it work? What do you do? Basically, find a timer, start by picking a task, then work on that task actively for 25 minutes with the timer set. When that time is up, take a 5-minute break. Seriously, uninterrupted, no working allowed, break. Take a break. Repeat, and after the 4th cycle of that, take a longer break, 15 to 30 minutes. This is something that has been proven to help many people stay on track with work that we're trying to do. Building in those intentional breaks is such a key part of helping to prevent burnout, helping to break up things that otherwise feel really overwhelming and insurmountable. And there's lots of other types of apps that you can download to a phone or a computer that prompt us in other kinds of ways, whether it's prompting you to remember to drink water, whether it's prompting you to remember to exercise. There's all different kinds of customizable tools out there that we can use. And finally, another important piece of time management is learning how to prioritize and to delegate, which are two really important things that can be hard to learn. So to prioritize, start by asking yourself, what is most important? What is most urgent? What could wait until later? What can you realistically do? And what do you need help doing? And for the things that you need help doing is where we learn how to delegate. So learning to lean on other people when we can't do everything ourselves is essential. We are human, we are not machines. There's only so much we can get done, and it can help us to feel less overwhelmed if we're realistic about our capacities rather than taking on too much. And if you do know that you're going to have to delegate to somebody else, try to reach out and communicate that as soon as you can so that people know what to expect as far as their workload or are able to say yes or no. Delegating is so important. If we have a web of people who can count on each other to share responsibilities when we need to, we can be so much stronger and more resilient as a collective. No one is in this alone. Even while socially distancing, no one is in this alone. Managing time right now and maintaining consistency are really hard to do. And if we try to be patient and gracious with ourselves and others, and if we lean on community and some of the resources that we have available to us, we can figure this out together.